The Northtown News Magazine is brought to you in part by the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation, caring for the families of slain and seriously injured officers.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hirsch, and our man of all men who's been doing this for over 22 years, Avi Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up at the web at www.ntnm.org, communitypolicingcaps24.org, Jewish Chicago. If you're watching this live on TV, forget it. It's being printed. But if you're watching this on YouTube early, you can still participate if you give me a call. And I know people are going to call me and says, oh, but I've got to get this into your paper. Well, considering the fact that it's sitting in the back of the van, like 25,000 copies, it's going to be a little rough. So, it doesn't quite work like that. It is a pleasure to introduce you to a candidate for the Circuit Court, and I'd like to thank Tom McGuire for helping arrange him. And that is Michael O'Malley. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
First of all, my pleasure. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure, absolutely. My name is Michael O'Malley. I grew up in Elmwood Park. I attended St. Vincent's Ferrer grade school and then Fenwick High School. Then went to Northern Illinois University. I majored in accounting. And after that, I went to work for several corporations. And when I was working at J.P. Morgan, I started night school at John Marshall. I also passed the certified public accounting exam, and after I graduated from law school, I then went to work for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, where I've worked for over a decade, and I'm still currently working there. I've had a number of assignments in the State's Attorney's Office. I worked in the Child Support Enforcement Unit, then went to the 4th Municipal District in Maywood, where I misdemeanors and preliminary hearings. After that, I went to the Felony Review Unit. I then went to the Felony Trial Division in Markham, Illinois, and then to the Special Prosecutions Bureau. I was in the Public Corruption and Financial Crimes Unit. And after that, I was just recently transferred to our Civil Actions Bureau, and I work in our Real Estate Unit.
So you've got a wide range of experience, not to mention the fact that, hey, you know what, it's funny, one of my best friend's fathers, he was a lawyer and a CPA.
Okay.
And guy was a financial whiz.
Yes, yes.
There's a lot you can do with that.
Yes, there is. There is definitely. And, I obviously had opportunities. I could have stayed at J.P. Morgan, but I decided to devote my legal career to public service.
I think that's very noble. I'm not a big fan of J.P. Morgan.
A lot of people aren't these days.
No, I wasn't even back then. I mean, I remember J.P. Morgan when I was a little kid. No, I don't. You'd be like, what, 150 years old right now?
Yes, you would, yes. Still a very rich man, though.
That's an understatement. So in any event, I guess you'd be traveling the county.
That's correct.
How many events do you go to in a given night?
I try to get to one a night. Obviously, there's 7 days in a week, so I at least try to get to 6 events a night. Sometimes there are 2. Hopefully they're close to each other. But there are always events to go to, always people to meet. And obviously, meeting the voters is what's important and getting your message across. Obviously, running for judge, we have limitations on what we can say. We can't take political stands, and rightfully so. So getting in front of voters and telling them, my background and why I'm qualified to be judge, it's an important thing, and these events are very important to go to.
No question. And if people would like you to speak publicly somewhere, I assume you're available?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if they want to contact me, I do have a website. It's o'malleyforjudge.us, and there's a link to contact us, and an email will be sent to my campaign manager.
Very cool. Who is your campaign manager?
Michael Sheehan.
Oh, the sheriff.
No, he is a business owner from the Northwest Side.
Oh, okay.
So he spells his name the same way, but it's not the former sheriff.
Interesting. I did meet the former sheriff once, but I don't think I ever had him on the show. But that's okay. You're on the show now, and good luck, Michael Sheehan, the campaign manager.
Thanks.
So, what neighborhood are you in now?
I currently live in Bucktown. I used to live, for 12 years, I lived in Edison Park. So I moved from Elmwood Park to Edison Park Edison Park, Norwood Park area, lived there for 12 years, and then now I'm in Bucktown.
So you're a city guy, and I mean, it's a big county to travel.
It is, and I'll tell you this, when I was working at the state's attorney's office, that's when I first realized how big this county is. I mean, it goes south of I-80. Obviously, being from the north side, when I was on felony review and driving down to some of the south suburbs on the Indiana border, I was absolutely shocked at how big Cook County is and how diverse it is.
Yeah, no question about it. I grew up until I was 5 years old, I'm from South Chicago, and I kind of realized that early on.
Yeah.
So, because we were right near the Indiana border.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it really stretches. It's like I couldn't believe the north side stretched as far as it did.
It does, yes. And how far northwest it goes, too. You know, I mean, you get up to some of those areas and there's still farms.
Yeah, no, there are.
Right.
There are. I think it's kind of cool, though. I really like that touch in the city. So, in any event, just so you know, I mean, you brought up some interesting points. You're not only not allowed to take political stances, nobody can also ask you about where you stand on a particular issue you might have to govern about.
That's absolutely right. That's correct, yes. I mean, obviously, if you get elected judge, people are supposed to be able to present their case to you, and you're not supposed to have a predisposition to it. So their argument is supposed to be fresh in terms of myself hearing it, that I'm supposed to give each side equal weight to it. And I think if we didn't have that, the justice system wouldn't work. If you had a judge that already made up his mind, why even have a court case?
Yeah, no, that's important. And the fact is, listen, people would be voting along those lines. And the funny thing is, people would vote along those lines sometimes in cases that had nothing to do with what the reality of a situation is.
Correct.
Because you really have to rule. One thing I've learned about from interviewing judges, you've got to rule by point of law.
Yes.
You just can't make up the law on the spot.
Correct. Correct. No matter how much you'd like to.
Well, you know what, and this is on my head, not on yours, but we do have some of the finest legislators that money can buy. And they have written a series of very, very interesting laws that I think it's, get out there and vote. It is so important to have good judges on the bench. I always recommend people to start at the bottom of the ballot and work their way up. There's so many people that are in a hurry. A judge can affect your life more than just about anything else in your life, your freedom, your marriage, your property, everything else. We are running out of time, but I want to thank you very much. Your website once again?
O'MalleyforJudge.us.
O'MalleyforJudge.us. Michael O'Malley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck in the election.
Thank you. Appreciate it.